Okay, today putting together a quick video of a Chinese-made knockoff case for the Xbox 360 phat drive. It comes packaged with the case, as you see here, and then if you open it up you can find the little screw pack inside. The models that I have also come with the little Sata adapter and the Xbox part, which isn't always included. A quick and pretty easy install guide too. If you want to go through, it also comes with the hard drive stickers and everything to make it look pretty stinking authentic. I think most of you probably won't care about that portion of it, but definitely makes it absolutely look as legit as an original one. The careful pieces, or the pieces to be careful of not misplacing here, are the little sliding mechanism, the button, and the spring. All pretty small and pretty easy to lose. But here I have actually an original authentic 20 gigabyte drive that was removed from another hard drive enclosure at some point and probably replaced with a bigger one. But I got these enclosures so cheap that it makes it worth putting the 20 gigs back in to make them serviceable again just for a little bit of data. So what we need to do here in order to make the Xbox recognize the drive really simply is just match up the SATA connector and power here with the orientation of the drive as we put it in. So the power actually ends up going on the far side, so we end up inserting it upside down. So when you insert the drive, it just essentially slides right in there. And then this top portion, you just need to line up. And it just clicks right on there. Once you have that in, you can slide this forward until these holes line up. And then they actually provide, in this little screw packet, the screws for that. Okay, so here is the contents of that screw packet that I showed you earlier. And the drive already slid whatever in place. So what we're going to do here is just lock this sucker in. The front piece here, this, will often wiggle around and be kind of odd, but it's got a little soft enclosure around the outside of it, so it's really not that big a deal if it's kind of out of position when you screw everything in, because you can very easily and with basically no risk of damaging it roll the thing back around. So I'm just going to screw this in here. At this point I'm fast forwarding just because it's easier than watching me screw in these things. All I point out during this time is that in the official drive those are Torx or hex screws rather than Phillips. Okay, so now that that's in place, we can actually attach the mechanism for the button up front. And the way that I find is easiest to do this is to put the spring in place. There's actually a little notch that it sits and rests on to hook. And then this is the lever that actually functions to raise and lower the button. So what I do is I take a real small screwdriver and just kind of lift it up a little bit while I slide that in place and it hits the notch. So now if you see, when I compress the spring, it forces that back and forth. So what you do is you take the button and put it in place, and then you can actually hold this down a little bit and press the button and see how that's releasing. It'll be a little bit more obvious once we get the front of the case on. So for this, again, it's pretty easy. It's actually just a little front to back rock. So you go over the end and kind of latch it, and then pull down, and that's pretty much it. On the end it's pretty nice and snug. On the sides there's a little bit of kind of visibility here, but the other screws that they provide will hold everything together nice and tightly. So we will use again the same Phillips head, and I know for a fact on the official Microsoft drive these are actually a really small Torx screw. So if you're using an official Microsoft drive, it's super tiny. You get them with some replacement kits from other retailers and stuff, but with this you don't need it. Especially if you're doing a hack drive and you don't have another enclosure that you're working with, this would be just fine because you can just use a common Phillips head. Now, with the sticker packet that they provide, this is where it kind of, to me, gets in the territory of you could misrepresent what something is. Whenever I sell stuff like this, I always tell people it's a modified clone drive, that sort of thing, because there's really no point in not being honest, because you're saving so much money to do it yourself. It's really not worth it, and I don't think Microsoft's ever going to come up with a way to detect a modified hard drive or an aftermarket hard drive. But again, this one was original. Fully functional button. We can attach these if we want. I'm not going to bother doing that in a tutorial. I think everybody should be able to figure out how to place a couple of stickers. They provide the little holographic sticker that goes here, the one that goes over this screw, and then the full-blown serial number, as well as the metal piece that goes over the outside here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a aftermarket Chinese-made enclosure with a official 360 drive in it, but you could absolutely use many of the tutorials that are out there in hddhackr and make a hard drive, on the cheap. Okay, bye.